Welcome back, everyone. It's here. And today I've got some r/BestOf for you all. As per usual, I'll be reading you the posts, giving you my opinions, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. This post was collected by DrickCaterpillar77, and their tagline is, "Satan is not a pogo stick." The original OP is Garbage Station 666, posted to r/Am I Overreacting June 22nd, 2026. Am I overreacting for telling my boyfriend to plan his own birthday dinner? Hello, people. I, 30 female, and my boyfriend, now 28 male, have been together for 5 years. This year, I decided to throw a surprise party for him since his birthday was on a Monday. I did it the Saturday. I was able to use my friend's Airbnb that wasn't currently being rented that weekend to have a nicer place and to reduce suspicion since I do an overboard deep clean. I didn't have any help, and I worked about 70 hours a week, so I decided to go to my local grocery deli department to get food and cake for the party. I ordered some decorations and went on my lunch during the week to set them up. I put a lot of thought and effort into this, and I spent a lot of time getting things together and planning. On the day of the party, Saturday, I gave him his gifts, and I spent all day doing one of his hobbies with him and trying to keep him busy. He wasn't happy that I wasn't doing anything for his birthday, as he knew of, and he wanted to do other things that would spoil the plans. He wanted to go to a city 2 hours away and spend the weekend out there. But I needed him here for the party he didn't know about yet. I made some plans with a friend, so he went out with him while I ran to the Airbnb to finish setting up things. It was a pretty good turnout, about 25 people. Our friend got into the house and he was very surprised. Everyone ate, drank, and had a good time. Lots of laughs. The night went really great. Everybody left. I cleaned it all up by myself while he sat down and brought things into the house when we got home. That night, he thanked me a million times and kept telling me how amazing the party was. The next morning, I was beat. We got home late and I cleaned up everything by myself. I worked all week and had a health issue on top of everything with the party, and I needed a break. I bought him food from his favorite places all day, even when he had a lot of leftovers from the party. He pretty much was upset all day because he didn't want to be home. I told him to go hang out with his friends, but he refused. I asked him what he wanted to do, and he would just pout and not want to do anything other than go to that town 2 hours away. He wouldn't even attempt to ask his friends if they wanted to go, and I think it might be because he wanted me to pay for everything, but I was pretty tapped out. I spent pretty much $1,000 for everything for the weekend, including gifts and getting things to participate in his hobby that I don't even really like. I just put on a smile and did it for him. I don't make crazy money in general, so that's a lot for me. I go to work Monday, and he asked me if we could go to dinner since it was actually his birthday. I said yes. He told me that I needed to invite all his friends, call in a reservation, and pay for it to make it up to him for not planning anything on his actual birthday, and only one day, and not the whole weekend. I feel insulted and hurt. I told him he can do it himself, and I wouldn't be attending. I reminded him that on my birthday a few months back, we only did things he wanted to do, and I didn't get anything planned for me with friends or something special. Not even a simple $15 cake that he can just grab from the Walmart bakery 2 minutes down the road. He has never put half as much effort into my birthday as I have done to his for the 5 years we've been together. I understand this is not a competition and we don't really one-up each other on anything, but I don't get how I ruined his birthday. This obviously turned into a fight, and since we live together, he's been staying with his dad because I ruined his birthday. I don't know if we're breaking up or what, because he will not talk to me. I'm hurt and insulted. I don't understand how I'm the bad guy here. Am I overreacting for telling him that he should plan his own dinner and I did not attend? Relevant comments, beginning flower 390. Not overreacting. It may not have been on the day, but you planned a whole big party and went all out on it, and then he was ungrateful and complained, expecting you to do even more still, while he does literally nothing for your birthday. Sounds like you'd be better off without him, to be honest. He doesn't sound like he really likes you. OP responds, he seemed to be very happy about it and thanked me so much to turn around and do all that. I'm so numb. I feel like letting this relationship go. It's been good up until this point. Mini update, same day. I called him and told him that we need to speak face to face today. He said sure and asked if he should spend $700 on something. I told him that's the majority of his money he has on the side of his account, and just argued with me when I told him he shouldn't. I'm taking my portion out of that account and breaking up with him tonight. Update, June 24th, 2026, 2 days later. Update, thank you all for the comments and people checking up on me. I have a little bit of context and update of what's going on currently. I was supposed to meet up with him that night to break up with him and talk about how we'll need to separate things. My name is primary on his vehicle, but he is a co-signer and on the title, so I couldn't report it stolen or anything. He has shit credit and anger issues. Yes, I know, shocker. So I had a feeling he would just stop paying and ruin mine for fun. I feel that. We also had a joint bank account where we would save money, put things towards bills, the house, the cats, and so on. I did take all of my money out. There's a certain amount allocated that we have for ourselves for our fun, trip money, etc. So when he called to spend a big chunk of his side, that is not uncommon. Yes, he did buy a gun. I told him it was stupid, but he has quite a few, so it was not uncommon. It was not to try to hurt or threaten me. So anyway, he did not show up for the meeting at his dad's house, and his dad wasn't there. I just went home. I got a weird text message that morning from a random number calling me an asshole, and it blocked me. Never figured out who it was. He wasn't answering me for a good while, but this wasn't unusual from his behavior since he left. Well, I got a call yesterday afternoon. They found his car abandoned and smashed, with nobody in it. Thank God for gap insurance. I was 3 hours away, dealing with an issue at one of my furthest stores from the city. I finally called his dad, and he was very surprised to hear what I had to say. You guessed it. He was told a whole different story that made me look awful. Tried telling his dad that he paid for all the party and I didn't do a thing, and told him that he couldn't celebrate his birthday and all kinds of insane shit. His dad did agree that my story made a lot more sense, but I digress. Apparently my ex has been going through bottles of alcohol like water, and his dad was trying to kick him out of the house. He was drunk and crashed the car by himself. Thank God he didn't hurt anybody. He started to walk, who knows his destination, and walked through people's yards, and the cops got called on him from somebody in the neighborhood, I'm guessing. He fought the cops and got arrested. I still haven't talked to him or know if he ever got out or what. I have given some major things of his to his dad, and he knows it is over between us. I don't think he'll do anything to me, but I'm kind of uneasy. I'm looking for a new place to live. Honestly, you dodged a bullet. It sucks it took 5 years for you to finally dodge it, but this is just unacceptable behavior. You do all of this for him for his birthday on Saturday, and you spend $1,000 on him, potentially more. Then on Sunday, he complains that you're not doing more. Then on Monday, he asks for dinner, then asks for you to essentially make the reservation so he can invite all of his friends. And then when you say no, then he storms off and claims that he had to do everything for his birthday, completely ignoring the fact that he's never really done anything this grand or this kind for your birthday. He's expecting a shit ton for his, but not even willing to put the same effort in for yours. It'd be one thing if he wasn't really a birthday guy and just didn't really celebrate his or celebrate yours, and you were trying to celebrate his and expecting the same in return, but that's not what's happening here. OP's not trying to draw blood from a stone. He wants to get everything, but give nothing. This guy is borderline about to be one of those, but it's my birthday month kind of people. And then for him to essentially just demolish the car, and then in addition to that, just be on a drunken stupor, putting several people at risk, lying about what OP did or didn't do, and then assaulted a cop, all over the fact that he couldn't get a birthday dinner after he spent thousands of dollars for a birthday weekend. Yeah, leaving that mess behind was 100% the right choice, because it also sounds like it's not just about the birthday. It sounds like there's a lot more under the surface that caused this to boil over. A lot of it being also financial too, with the, I want to go to the town 2 hours away. Go with your friends. Oh, but I want to go with you. I'm exhausted from yesterday. Oh, please. And with you having the idea that there's a good chance that he just wanted you to pay for everything, how often did that happen? Just out of curiosity. This post was collected by Direct Caterpillar 77, and their tagline is, "Sane is not a pogo stick." The original OP is Throw RA X Note, posted June 21st, 2026 to r/am I the asshole. Would I be the asshole if I dropped out as a bridesmaid a week before the wedding because of what happened at the Bachelorette? So, I'm a bridesmaid in my friend's wedding. She just had a bachelorette party at the groom's family's cabin for 2 nights. It started off okay, but as the attendants got more and more drunk, the racism and anti-Semitism started coming out. For context, everyone else in the wedding party is white. I'm mixed Jewish and Asian, and Irish, but not relevant to the post. My part of the family was to put on a tea party in the afternoon. I spent weeks hand-decorating a tea set as a wedding present. Weddings are huge in my culture, and I wanted to share that joy. I bought and cooked a bunch of my cultural food, but the basic stuff even Western people like lumpia, baked desserts, and skyflakes with cheese and meat. I, of course, checked with the bride and maid of honor beforehand, and both said that would be okay, with the bride saying she loved lumpia. I was so proud of it, and it looked beautiful all set up. But immediately, some of the bridal party started making the "ew, ethnic food" faces. People of color, you know. One of them chased around another with a sweet bun, laughing about how weird and scary it was. It was literally bread and cream. I sent pictures of my setup to other friends to see if it was something I did wrong, and everyone said it looked amazing. Edit, cause I need to be precise. People did say thank you, including the bride. They said the setup was very pretty. It was the reaction to the food by some of them, family of the groom who also made the Auschwitz jokes, that I was describing. That being said, almost nobody spoke during the tea party portion and blamed it on being tired. The bride and friends did not say anything about the reactions of the other girls. The main feedback I got is that I was clearly a witch because my tea put everyone to sleep. It was hibiscus, rose, mint, and calamansi mix. But oh well, maybe that food isn't for them. I moved on. But then the racist joke started. The party started on Juneteenth. You can imagine the jokes that came out of that. Then the anti-Semitic jokes about Holocaust camps and more. This is a direct quote. I say a lot of Nazi and Holocaust jokes for someone who isn't racist. I was trapped on a boat with them when this started happening. Later that night, as I was grabbing something from a room to then leave, the main perpetrator said to someone I considered a close friend, "I was worried you'd be offended by the Auschwitz jokes because you're German." That friend replied she wasn't offended. I spoke up, "Well, I might be offended because I'm Jewish." I got up to leave with my stuff, and the girl said, "She's going back to Auschwitz." My friend, the bride, everyone laughed. I went outside and I cried. They saw me from the window when they all came to eat food. Not a single one of my friends came to check on me. The vibes continued along that line, and I felt like I was in the Jewish/Asian version of Get Out, stuck in a giant home with a bunch of racist white people. But honestly, the fear from it wasn't the worst part. It was that not a single one of my friends said anything. I then was in a 4-hour car ride with one of the said friends/bridesmaids on the way home. She spent the last hour of it lecturing me about how she's someone who can be cordial around people she doesn't agree with, but not everyone has that skill, especially when it's personal. And that I need to put myself in other people's shoes and see that they have positive intentions, and more. For context, this cabin was 4 hours away, and I have a pretty moderate disability. I was using 110% of my energy for this, and had no energy left by the end of it. I pushed myself to extremes for these friends and the bride, and it was reciprocated with laughing at anti-Semitic jokes at my expense. The wedding is next weekend. I can barely see from the migraine I have, and my legs are struggling with walking. I don't feel it's worth it to hurt myself for someone who couldn't even bother to stand up for me or even check on me after. All of my friends of color agree with me, but this was my high school friend group. I grew up in a very white town. And I also feel guilty, like I'm letting them down. I'm not quite sure what to do, so Reddit, please help me out. Edit, I was a history major, which makes this whole thing even worse. So I have to add context that I didn't realize I missed until the comments. 1. The friend in the car is the friend that said she wasn't offended by the Holocaust jokes to the person. She was asked by the jokester because she's German and lives in Germany. In the car, she did say that she's absolutely against the concentration camp joke, and that she feels guilty. She didn't say anything. The words "I'm sorry" never came out of her mouth though. But then I brought up the other stuff with the food and racist comments. And that's when she went on that tangent. She also said she saw the racism, but told me in those situations you just have to ignore it and choose to not be around those people again. As she knew there was racism happening, including towards me, and didn't say anything or check in on me. I'll be choosing to not be around her again. I also told her repeatedly that I didn't want to talk about this now because I was so physically done. And she said, "This is my car and I am driving. I don't want to be uncomfortable and have this tension here. We are talking." I have a vocal cord disorder and my speaking is limited, so I didn't say much, and I didn't want to get dropped off on the side of the road in the middle of nowhere. I told her she crossed a boundary she can't come back from, though. 2. The people making the racist jokes were the siblings and cousins of the groom. My friends were the ones laughing along and not saying anything. 3. I've been long distance with these friends since high school. The friend in the car with me was in a social justice club with me in high school. There were not signs of this behavior before from either this friend or the bride. In fact, the bride went with me to an anti-ICE fundraiser party earlier this year, and we had a lot of fun. I have never been shy with my opinions, especially as someone who studied history. This was the first time I was hanging with them around a bunch of other people. In reviewing these comments, I realized that they may not be racist when with me before, but didn't stop or say anything about racism when it happened. Which is in fact racism. That is a key difference. I'm also more white than not. I am ethnically Jewish, but not religiously. I often don't feel like I have a right to be upset about these things because other family have gone through worse. That's something I'm working to unlearn, and this was definitely some exposure therapy to that. 4. Why didn't I say anything at the party? Because I was in the middle of nowhere surrounded by drunk people making racist comments at me. I have survived violence before and know that sometimes keeping your mouth shut is what needs to happen until you're in a safe space. 5. Lastly, I will not be going to the wedding. I need to get off screens because my head is killing me, but your comments and support help me settle me emotionally. I will decide tomorrow how I will inform the bride. Update, June 23rd, 2026, 2 days later. OP posted the 3 pics of the tea party setup. Oh, that is incredibly lovely. Oh, and that's not just a cabin either, that's like a cabin, like lake house cabin. Good God. I made both hot and iced tea. It was hibiscus, rose, mint, and calamansi mix. The bride's favorite color is pink, so I tried to stick with the theme. I brought all the food except the cheese, meat, veggies, and hummus. I don't want to take credit for what I didn't do. And yes, I did forget a dipping sauce for the lumpia. Sad face. Edit, my update post was removed, so here it is. 1. One of the comments in my last post asked, as a joke, "Is this all because you forgot the dipping sauce?" Yes, I did, and my Lola is screaming from above. Also, I must clarify, I am very lucky to live in a much more diverse place now with a Filipino market less than a mile away. I bought frozen lumpia and pre-made baked goods, ensaimadas, mango buns, and these little panda pudding cakes alongside ube sugar sticks and skyflakes. I'm sorry if I am fucking up the pronunciation left and right. The cooking was frying the lumpia and setting up all the plates, so I can't claim to have made it from scratch. The cheese and meat with the skyflakes was generously donated from leftovers from the night before. I spent all of my time hand decorating the tea set. I wish I could attach a picture of the setup as I was, and am, still very proud of it. I'll make a separate post on my page with a picture of the tea party setup. So yes, all the people commenting this must be fake because no one could really be that egregious. I fucking wish it was fake, but welcome to rural Midwest. 2. One of the comments on my post said I wasn't looking for advice but validation. That was partially correct. Getting told I'm the problem for an hour on the car ride home by someone I've known for 10 years and who organized political campaigns with me in high school fucked me up. I felt crazy, and when I got home, I made this post to try and see if I was being overly sensitive. I appreciate all the responses because it helped me realize I wasn't being dramatic or sensitive. I was having a valid reaction to being told I was leaving to go to the concentration camp my ancestral people were genocided in, and my friends laughing along and saying nothing to me. 3. For the real update, I sent this message to the bride. Hi bride, I have thought long and hard about how to say this. I will not be attending your wedding. I could have said it's because I'm sick, which isn't untrue. I spent last night with a migraine so bad I couldn't stop vomiting, but that wouldn't be the full truth, and as I considered you a near and dear friend, I owe you the truth. The truth is, I was subjected to hatred and bigotry this weekend, and nobody said anything or checked on me. I pushed my body past the limits for this, spent weeks hand decorating your tea set because I care so much for you. To see that reciprocated with laughter when I was told to go back to Auschwitz devastated me. That entire weekend felt like I was in a Jewish/Asian version of a Jordan Peele movie. I poured over this decision. I even made a Reddit post because I couldn't tell if what I was feeling was right or if I just need to suck it up. The comments helped me stand true to my feelings. I have simply reached a point in my life where my boundaries are clear and the line has been crossed. I will not harm myself and my body for a group of people that laughed as I was harmed. I still truly wish you the best. You can see the post here. Link to post. I did not get a response. She has since blocked me on Instagram, likely on phone too, but I haven't texted again to check. Her just blocking me without saying anything hurt the most, especially as I was putting so much effort and pushing my body so far out of love for her. I invited her into my community organizing space earlier this year, thinking she was an ally, but at least I know now where she stands when it comes to the Holocaust and everything else. I simply just need to grieve now. 4. To the wedding group chat, I sent this. I thought a lot about what/if to say, but I don't think there's anything I can say that the comments didn't. Link to post. I then left the group chat. I've been blocked by both the bride and maid of honor. Carfriend was blocked by me on both WhatsApp and Instagram, but did not block me first, at least on Instagram, no idea for WhatsApp. It all feels like I'm back at my 95% white high school. The racism, the bullying, the blocking, all of it. I've grown out of that, and I'm glad to have found many new friends in my current community who were there to support me amongst all of this. If you're reading this, appreciate you, chit-chat, especially my plant gremlins. I almost didn't make an update, but a friend told me the Reddit gremlins must be fed, and asked why I feel I owe the wedding party the comfort of leaving it alone when they made me so uncomfortable for days because of my ethnicities. Fair enough. I learned the ASL sign petty bitch before this weekend for a reason. 5. 2 of the other bridesmaids that were friends of the bride and didn't know anyone else at the party reached out to me individually to apologize for not saying anything, that they didn't see it target me specifically, and that they respected my decision. If you're reading this, thank you. I let them know I appreciated them reaching out and that I understand why they wouldn't say anything in a house full of strangers in the middle of nowhere. It shouldn't be on them to stand up for a stranger when the people in charge of the Bachelorette are supposed to be my friends. 6. To be entirely honest, this friend group has been dying for months, if not longer, with only the wedding really keeping it together. At least they gave me a clean cut. I'll be enjoying my next weekend of rest. 7. And if any of you in the wedding are reading this post, thinking I'm an asshole for making it public, maybe you're right, but if you know it's bad to be seen publicly, why would you say it or laugh at it in private? And over 1,500 people commented you were racist, so they're probably right too. Edit. I forgot to mention something I had remembered about Carfriend. In the car, she said, I didn't know you were Jewish, as if she needs to know I'm Jewish for it to be wrong. Yet the day before, when someone made a joke about the food being kosher, and whether it was kosher or halal for Jewish people, and I said it was kosher, that friend told the group she would know because she's Jewish. So the group, and this friend, did in fact know I was Jewish before making and or laughing at the big Holocaust jokes. And I was straight up gaslit. Just need to add this because fuck that. Final comments. User a symphony in 2 parts. It's so weird when people get upset when their actions have consequences. It's like they must be used to living in a society that gives them the benefit of the doubt or something. Enjoy your weekend off, OP. OP responds, that's exactly it. I'm intolerant for not tolerating racism, but their intolerance of ethnic food and Jewish people is something that needs to be tolerated. These people confuse me, to be honest. I can't even fucking imagine telling someone who's Jewish to go back to Auschwitz then wondering, why are you mad at me? Why are you being so intolerant? Why are you so upset? You just told them to go die. The fuck did you expect? Why would you make that public? Why are you doing this to me? Why did you do that to me, huh? Oh no, actions have consequences, and in a day and age of the internet, now you gotta worry about other people having input on your personal life, so maybe you should actually, I don't know, be a decent person, and not just a fucking racist asshole. Crazy thought. There's also a few commenters that I'm half expecting to see pop up that I know are gonna have some problems with some aspects of this post. No fucking idea why they follow this channel considering who I am and what I stand for, but thanks for the view and watch time, I guess. How does it feel knowing that your beliefs make you a stain on humanity, just out of curiosity? I hope you guys are able to pick up what I'm putting down as to what those commenters' beliefs are. But OP, there's no need for you to feel bad about walking away from a situation like this. You found out who's performative and who's not actually your friend, and who's willing to put up with anti-Semitism and racism, all for the sake of just a chuckle and a laugh. Considering the lecture that OP got in the car, it just speaks that they're just a performative activist, where they just put on the mask and put on the charade of, oh, look how great I am, helping everyone, but behind closed doors, they don't actually believe in any of that. It's all just so they can get the social credit behind it. Thankfully, it sounds like OP already has better friends lined up than whatever these are. This post was collected by Gardengio, posted to r/Airbnb hosts by Pango Lindsay. The person who showed up in my Airbnb is a 15-year-old kid. Posted July 15th, 2024. He's attending a 3-week pre-college program at a nearby university. The person who booked the unit months ago now admits she lied. She said she was taking a course at the university and would be staying alone. She claims she's the kid's cousin, but I doubt this. The kid referred to her as a counselor, and she's an educational consultant according to her Airbnb and LinkedIn profiles. The pre-college program has a residential option that costs $12,000. Without housing, food, and supervision, the program is $6,000. What I think happened is the kid's family, who presumably speak even less English than he does, paid this educational consultant to put their son in this program, and she decided to put him in our Airbnb rather than pay for housing, food, supervision through the university so she could make more money. Now I'm trying to figure out what to do. I think I'll notify his university program, which specifically prohibits minors living unsupervised like this. I'll make sure he gets some dinner tonight. I'll report the person who did this to Airbnb. Comments. Commenter 1. All I have to say is, poor kid. What language does he speak? Do you know anyone who can translate for him? But I think what you're doing is probably the right way to go about it. OP responds, he's Chinese. His English is better than I initially thought. We've been texting. We just had trouble communicating when we first met, and we didn't know who he was, and he couldn't explain this complicated situation. Comment 2. Poor kid. I want to hug him. In his defense, a 15-year-old doing an educational program abroad is probably pretty smart and savvy and could figure out how to dinner. But that doesn't feed his soul. Alone in a foreign country? 15-year-olds should feel taken care of regardless if they need it or not. Thanks for thinking about dinner for him. Comment 3. Wow, that's both insane and criminal. Definitely call the school and report her so she can't do this again. Crazy she thought some underage kid would get away with living alone for several weeks. Comment 4. I work at a university that hosts these programs over the summer, and I know we would be very interested to know of this happening. Please, report the consultant and let them know the student is living on their own. There are so many red flags/things that could go wrong, and no one would know who to contact for this poor boy. Update point 5. Same day. Early update, university person in charge of minor students responded to me immediately and we'll talk in the morning. The kid is perfectly fine. He went out and got himself dinner. He'll go to the first day of class tomorrow. I would have never known he wasn't an adult, except I asked to see ID because he clearly wasn't the female person who booked the place. Update, 3 days later. The university took charge of the situation immediately, as many commenters predicted. They moved the kid into a dorm room. Minor students in this program are not allowed to live unsupervised. I don't know who's paying for the dorm room. He's going to have a much better experience in the dorm with other kids than he would alone in our Airbnb. The person who booked the Airbnb for the kid requested a refund, which I denied, explaining that 1. We have a strict cancellation policy, and 2. She broke pretty much every Airbnb rule in existence. She tried to claim that kids as young as 13 are allowed to book Airbnbs, and also that I invaded her privacy by calling the university. Then we stopped communicating. I reported the situation to Airbnb support, who canceled the stay, so I can rebook to someone else. And they will likely ban her. The comments here about calling the police and FBI for a possible trafficking or drug mule situation didn't match reality at all. The kid was fine, perfectly happy, ordering Uber Eats, made it to his first day of class without any problems. He did lock himself out of the apartment twice, but plenty of adults have done that too. I would have never known he was under 18 and not the person who booked this stay, except he was a different gender, and that made me ask to see ID. Comments. Comment 1. OP mentioned that you looked her up on LinkedIn. Does she say she's a member of either IECA or NACAC? If so, please report her to them. These are 2 professional organizations for independent educational consultants. They hold their members to high standards, and this is an obvious breach. OP responds, I will do this. Thanks. Comment 2. As someone who works in international student services at a college, thank you for handling this the right way. If I ever tried to pull anything like this with a minor student, I would expect nothing less than being fired. I wonder how long the counselor had been getting away with this, because she just got unlucky that she had an Airbnb host who was actually there to see the person checking in. Something tells me that she's been doing this for a while. Hell, this might even be something that she offers of something like, oh, if you pay me like $7,000 or $8,000, I can save you $4,000 in the housing instead. Essentially offering a way for the kid to be able to skate through the dorm system so that way they can not have to spend nearly as much money. When really all it is just the kid ending up in an Airbnb off-site a little bit so that way it's cheaper. Which basically tells me there's a good chance that a lot of 15-year-olds have probably gone through this experience while attending this university's programs, whether the university or their parents even knowing. And then when she finally got caught, it's a how dare you invade my privacy. Really, that's what you're concerned about, is OP invading your privacy when they had the gall to report you to the university for setting up a minor alone for 3 weeks? Dog, I hope you lose your job over this. This post was collected by Big O Nerd. The original OP is Blogger8517, posted to r/AmITheAsshole, May 23rd, 2026. Am I the asshole for cutting off my pregnant friend who has canceled last minute on everything for the last 3 years? There will be a lot of information in this post, so bear with me. I, 24 female, know someone, 26 female, who is currently pregnant and due to give birth very soon, but for the last 3 years have consistently canceled last minute on plans, deflected blame, and I feel used and disposable. Am I the asshole for blocking her? For context, over the last year, I can count on one hand the amount of times she has showed up to things our friend and I planned for months in advance. We all live 2 to 3 hours from each other, so driving to do dinners, celebrate birthdays, etc. is very time-consuming and expensive. However, I'm happy to put in the effort when it is appreciated. But over the last 2 years, the excuses became that she was too tired or she wanted to spend time with her boyfriend, and now, most recently, I haven't even gotten a text at all, just straight up feeling disrespected that she would rather sit at home and not put in the effort to come to plans she supposedly wanted to make. My birthday was my last straw, 2 months ago. I picked the restaurant, activities, and everything surrounding her due to pregnancy. There were multiple texts sent out in the week and month leading up to this, texting her multiple times to confirm her plans. Shocker! She did not come, but here's the kicker. She tried to make it seem like it was my fault for not reminding her or telling her about the plans. I followed that up with screenshots of the texts of all of the times of me telling her. That being said, I continued to try and be there for her throughout her pregnancy and supported her. However, it's clear I'm no longer wanted in any capacity. I'm posting on here for the fact that I can't talk to anyone else about this due to her being pregnant and knowing that her canceling last minute will be seen as excused. But I felt used and disposable over the constant disappointment and expectations for me to show up for her over the years prior to this. I truly don't understand how someone can be this selfish, and I almost want to say that this is why she will have nobody in her corner. Because how is it fair to continue to try and show up for someone who is so disrespectful of my time and everyone else's time besides her boyfriend, who she always canceled on me last minute for? Due to the timing of this, I've chosen to block her and not discuss anything about my grievances because of 2 reasons. 1, it's not going to change anything as she's very aware of how rude she's been. 2, she's pregnant, and I refuse to be painted in a negative light that I stressed out a first-time mom. However, I just feel like I needed someone to hear my perspective. Today, she planned something, but of course, she didn't even cancel last minute. She just texted her other friend, saying she's using the time to get her hair and nails done. The sad part is, I never even planned on going solely for the fact that I wasn't going to waste the time, money, and gas for someone to stand me up. It's a hard lesson to learn that no matter how much you try with someone, whether that be a friend, family, or a man, that some people just don't care, ever. I blocked her because I don't want to see the inevitable text of, "Oh my god, I miss you, let's make plans." Truly, at this point, it just feels like she got pleasure from knowing she had someone care about her, and she could do whatever she wanted, and I'd still be there. I felt used. Comments. Parking bar $13.99. Info. Does she give you adequate time when she's planning to cancel, or is she canceling while you're literally on your way / already there? OP responds, she cancels plans 1 hour before. Sometimes she doesn't even say anything, after we've already done the labor. Parking bar $13.99 responds, then not the asshole. Being a flake isn't a huge deal if you're considerate enough to give decent notice. Controversial, I know. Life gets in the way, or people have their own issues to deal with, or sometimes you just plain and simple can't be bothered. Canceling with no warning after time, money, and labor has went into the plans is being a bad friend. She doesn't value your friendship like you do. If you are constantly the one doing the heavy lifting in a friendship, then you need to leave. The foundations of friendship are based on mutual respect and effort, which she's not providing. OP responds, this. I personally have been raised to never cancel except in serious emergencies. It's not really the cancellations that have pushed me this far, it's the deliberate and intentional action of knowing I was fully invested into the plans and she never had to be. User BakeCake45 comments, she is clearly telling you that she doesn't want a friendship with you. It would be easier if she would just come out and say that, but her consistent behavior tells you all you need to know. Just walk away. OP responds, what's crazy is that she says she's treated me the best out of her other friends. User Cthulhu comments, I wouldn't have bothered blocking her. Just let her propose plans and never intend on joining her. If flakes, it's as expected. If she makes it, bitch her out for not reminding you, or give her a low-energy excuse. This avocado I have just got soft. I needed to eat it right away. Not the asshole. Block and move on. OP responds, I just want her to feel at least a portion of how she's made me feel, especially over the last year with making every detailed and careful plans to try and make her feel included just for her to literally do anything else. User Old-Timey Hockey. Unblock. Make plans. Let her complain. Move them. Once. Be ready for her to not show up. Ignore her excuses. Don't expect her to show up. Don't think she'll be late. Just continue with your plans. You have plans to eat at 7? Start at 7. Start making plans with only the friends that show up. Don't include her in the group chats anymore. Formal stuff. Don't invite her at all. Why waste an invitation or time stressing if she's going to show up? OP responds, that's what I've been doing. Ice Dragon Play comments, not the asshole. Did you talk to the other friend that you usually plan things for the three of you to let them know how you were feeling and that you do not want to include Preger's friend anymore due to years of constant cancels? It seems like the two of you might want to make a separate chat to coordinate plans. OP responds, yes, but she's less angry about it than me, likely due to her accepting it. Final update, June 24th, 2026, 1 month and 1 day later. Hi all, please see original post above. My friend had her baby a few weeks ago. A couple of days ago, I got contacted by one of her family members. They asked me why I hadn't come to see her and the new baby, and that if I was so excited and supportive of her, why I haven't made an attempt to visit. Keep in mind, I've done a lot of things this summer, so I'm assuming the insecurity came from all my posts. I happily informed said family member of the constant updates I've asked for, and included screenshots of the times I've asked to come see her. No response. I understand that in my previous post I said I had blocked her, but it's a complicated situation with her being postpartum. The reason why I've unblocked and have reached out is so now I can report to the family member that yes, I have asked to come see them, and no, I'm not getting a response. They apologized immediately and said they were not told the full story. My friend told the family member that she was feeling isolated and alone, that she has not had anyone at her house. Essentially, my purpose with this is to show proof of doing everything in my power to not be the person I'm made out to be. I hope at least in this aspect they can start to put the pieces together and see that she's being controlled. Still have not received a response, by the way. Comments. Stormwater Witch. Glad you've stood up for yourself and set records straight. Pregnancy brain is real, so I could see her getting the message and forgetting to respond, but that doesn't excuse her icing you out completely and lying about it like she has. You've done the right steps to protect yourself, and I agree that keeping her unblocked for now is a good thing, but that'll dropping the rope to low contact is also what's best in this situation. Hope you can enjoy some peace. OP responds, thanks, yes, pregnancy brain is real but doesn't excuse lying. I don't think it's entirely coming from her. She's isolated because she allowed herself to become that way due to her BD. I assume baby daddy. User Lopsided Beach 1831 comments, are you saying she devalued your friendship by making plans and canceling them last minute? Or are you saying she's being isolated by a controlling boyfriend? Those are two very different scenarios. Your first post mentions none of this. This current post alludes to it a couple of times. The advice for you is very different based on if she's being controlled or is she just not being a good friend. OP responds, I think it's both. She's done this for a long time, but the recent isolation is making me think it's being influenced. The reason why my first post mentions none of it is because her canceling last minute was not anything new, but the isolation is. User Dirty Phoenix 54 comments, where is the isolation and the idea of her boyfriend being abusive come from? I read the original post and her partner was barely mentioned. How is she now being controlled? She just seemed like a pregnant flake who's a bad friend. Where is all this other stuff coming from now? OP responds, She's been flaky for a long time. I only mention the isolation because that's an abuse tactic. It's hard to know what it is since I'm in the dark. I was just saying it's a possibility. User Feline Companion Cube comments, I'd be extremely cautious in throwing abuse/isolation out there when it's a possibility she's been a flake for a long time. Yet somehow now she's being isolated? When did the flaky behavior start? Was it right after she started dating the baby daddy? Then you'd have a semi-decent reason to suspect abuse and isolation. But if she's been flaky before him, suddenly trying to make him out to be an abuser is pretty shitty behavior. Opie responds, I'm not making him out to be anything, I'm just trying to assess all options. I don't use those terms lightly at all. There is isolation going on, and isolation can correlate to abuse is all I was saying. Yes, she's been flaky, but since she has been with him, it's become much worse. User Dipshitistan comments, not the asshole, but has anyone said you are? Opie responds, her family member assumed I was. Also, she has tried to make me feel like I was in the past for her own actions. See previous post. Dipshitistan responds, do you need to have her in your life? She sounds like a lot. Opie responds, not really, but it bothers me. User Galactic System comments, I think you're not the asshole, but it's possible that this isn't the result of abuse. If she was a flaky liar even before a partner, she may have just escalated the behavior because you and everyone else in her life enabled it. You kept letting her disrespect your time and you in general, so once you stop letting it happen, she gets all huffy, like a spoiled child. I really hope she isn't being abused, but come on. If she's always been like this, then it's more likely because it's just the way she is. OP responds, honestly, that's the best case scenario. I'm tired of being nice. Sometimes you really just gotta ask yourself if a friendship is worth maintaining, if it's costing this much energy, time, and stress. It sucks, especially when it's a long-lasting one, but sometimes you just gotta look at things and really think to yourself if this is actually worth it. Is this person actually worth keeping around as a friend, or maybe they should just kind of be delegated towards an acquaintance instead? Someone who you occasionally talk with and keep up with. It's hard, it sucks, but it's just sometimes something you gotta do. It's the outro! Keep an eye out, by the way, because today's gonna be the first double upload with an actual saga coming up. I'll explain more in the actual saga video, but yeah, you'll get 2 doses of Oz today. It's a one-time deal. I don't think I could ever do this again because it was entirely by accident, and it was more of just because I didn't want audio to go to waste, so yeah, be prepared for that. Anyways, use GamerSupps, code Oz at checkout. That'd be super cool. I don't really have too much more to say beyond that. I'm tired. I'll catch y'all later.